Why is it that the very continent trying to build a single market is the same continent where a brother's afraid of his own brother's accent, or let's say like Shadow? We are watching a tragic repeat of history.
Real Kasa. The Real Kasa Show.
In the 1960s and 70s, the continent fought together for South Africa's freedom. Today, the same rainbow nation is becoming a place where African blood is spilled on the streets by fellow Africans. That's the world we're living in right now. That's the Africa we're living in right now. We are experiencing xenophobic attacks now. For the ones that don't know, right? Xenophobia is the fear, dislike, or exclusion of people from other countries or cultures. It often involves seeing outsiders as more strange or inferior or threatening, simply because they are just different, or they look different, or whatever, they sound different. This is exactly what's happening now. Over the past days, viral videos of disturbing and extreme xenophobic attacks on Ghanaians in South Africa, specifically in cities like Cape Town, have sparked a diplomatic firestorm.
We are fixing this continent. This thing of you guys moving from one country to the other, it's no longer working. We don't want this as African people anymore. We are tired of seeing African migrants moving all over the world, refusing to fix your own countries. Now we're making it very clear to you guys, Utitina, we don't want you here. We want you to fix your countries. Now you came here with a traveling document, you came with a passport. You know that you are a visitor, but now you decided to come and integrate in our communities. You know very well that what you have done is wrong.
How many children do you have here?
We can come to Ghana and do what you're doing.
So, did you hear that? She's telling a fellow brother that he has no right to integrate. Please help me understand this. How is he integrating? How is someone integrating in his own brother's country? She's telling him his presence is a failure to his own nation. How do you say this and still long for a single market? A single market of free trade. You know, this isn't just a street fight, but this is more like a trial. I don't know what it is. They have turned a neighborhood street into an illegal courtroom. They've taken the law into their own hands, legal matters into their own hands, and talking as if they truly have the authority. Foolishness. It's purely foolishness.
It's time to consider PayAngel. Use our code Kasa, a platform designed by Africans tailored specifically to our unique needs. Gen Z, we need services that get us, and PayAngel does. PayAngel understands our needs, offering the best exchange rates and super fast transactions. Whether you're sending money to family or paying for business, it's all about convenience and trust. Plus, with PayAngel's easy-to-use app, you get more for your money and it's always safe. To experience the best service and value, use our code Kasa when downloading and transferring. Remember, use our code Kasa now. PayAngel, global payments, local simplicity. If you're looking for some amazing West African cuisines in New Jersey, visit Legit African Touch at 52 Ferry Street, South River, New Jersey. Mama's Secret, only continental dishes, preferably Ghanaian or Nigerian dishes, all in Legit African Touch. Get a feel of the African touch now.
She says, fix your own country. But let's be real, the people in this video are being used, right? They are frustrated because their own system is broken. Their own system is broken, and it's easier to bully or loan a Ghanaian man than to hold their own politicians accountable for the lack of jobs, the lack of opportunity. This is a distraction. They're fighting the victim instead of the villain. Now, I understand the frustration when this is done towards, let's say, like the Chinese, the Lebanese, the Japanese, or the white man, right? But it still isn't right. It still isn't right. And although it isn't right and we should not spew such things, I get it considering the exploitation of resources. The exploitation of resources we have experienced with foreigners countless of times coming into the continent. But the thing is, in this case, this is our very own fellow African brother that is being treated this way by his fellow African sisters and brothers also. This is what is keeping Africa at a standstill. This is the limitation mindset. This is the stronghold in which we need serious deliverance from. Because why? Really? Excuse me to say, she sounds utterly foolish, right? She sounds mad at a system that isn't working for her, and one that she hasn't found the solution to being a part of the resolution, to such matters. So Ghana's foreign minister, Samuel Ablakwa, held an emergency telephone conversation with South Africa's Minister of International Relations, Ronald Lamola, on the 23rd of April 2026. The South African government expressed deep empathy and promised a full-scale investigation, and the good news is that South Africa held a high-level briefing for all African ambassadors to manage what is now really a continental fallout. South Africa really chose the wrong time, and I've truly miscalculated completely if they thought they could do this rubbish under Foreign Minister Samuel Ablakwa. Let me tell you guys something. In just 1 year, there's not been once where Ghanaians have been in trouble and Samuel Ablakwa has not showed up yet or hasn't taken up a full-blown investigation. He has been on top of it. We had a time where Ghanaians were in trouble and being unalived between the Russian-Ukraine war, right? There was an incident like that. He showed up. He looked into it. Ghanaians were having issues and being detained by some Israelis in Tel Aviv. He showed up. He looked into it. And many other examples. He's been on top of these things, truly doing justice to the role of a foreign minister, of what a foreign minister should do. But this isn't an isolated scuffle. This is a reoccurring fever. This is a reoccurring fever that South Africa, the rainbow nation, is failing its neighbors, the very neighbors who bled and sacrificed to help end apartheid. Remember, apartheid. South Africans need to understand that what they're doing is not only dangerous, it is strategically reckless. If there's any serious geopolitical thinking happening in Pretoria right now, they would know that Ghanaians are among the last people on the African continent they should be provoking. Let's follow the money, right? South African capital is deeply embedded in Ghana's economy. MTN, right? MTN, the #1 telecommunications company in Ghana. 2, DSTV MultiChoice is South African, rooted. Even if it operates under, yes, an original French media structure, it's still South African rooted, right? Goldfields, one of the largest mining operations on Ghanaian soil, is South African. So do South Africans really want to mess this up for themselves? I don't think so. The footprint is significant and it is exposed. So honestly speaking, South Africans, you do not want to bite the hand that hosts your investments. Let's just not do that. Let's not go there, right? The main issue still holds. How can we have a single market for goods if we don't have a single heart for people? We are opening borders for containers, but we are closing hearts to our own blood. Why? You cannot have a united Africa, right? That dream that we love, that we want, with closed hearts and violent borders. This is not the route towards a united Africa. The African Continental Free Trade Area is built on the dream of one market. But trade is not just about moving containers of goods. It's more about the people. If a Ghanaian businessman or a Nigerian trader is not safe in a South African shop, the trade deal is just a piece of paper. It's non-existent, right? There's no trade being done here. There's no relationship. We have to actually take account of these things. So here's how the ripple effect happens. When these attacks happen, it triggers retaliatory xenophobia in other countries, leading to a cycle of hatred that destroys African businesses from Cape to Cairo, right? If a Ghanaian is not safe in Cape Town, eventually a South African business will not be safe in Accra. We are watching continental sabotage. And truly, we've worked so hard. We've worked so hard, too hard to come this far, just to cause a stir like this, right? Spewing foolishness and mess up entirely. I'm just praying. We don't dwell too much on this. You know, like I'm talking about the whole of Africa, specifically Ghanaians. We don't dwell too much on this because we tend to do that. And we actually just learn to rather do better than this, right? Retaliation should never be the answer, but rather capitalizing on this, you know, and opening more markets for simple accessibility. That's what we want. That's what we want. But clearly, we are experiencing the cracks in the rainbow. I know that sounds crazy, but we have been sold a rainbow nation, right? A rainbow nation dream. That's what South Africa has been known for. Like, you can see so many Africans in South Africa, so many people around the world there, right? That's the so-called rainbow nation dream. But that is cracking under the weight of economic frustration. The hate we see on the streets is often a distraction. Like I said, when leaders fail to provide jobs and security, they allow fringe elements to blame the foreigner. Let's be real, Pan-Africanism is currently on life support. If the rainbow only has room for one color or one nationality, it is no longer a rainbow. It is a fortress. It's a fortress. Like, this isn't a rainbow nation, right? These are the things that we're seeing here, and it's evident. So this is where I want us to really take account, right? They're operating, we see like this spirit of Cain, right? Right, in Genesis 4, Cain asked God, am I my brother's keeper? After he had already spilled his brother's blood, right? This is the curse. The Bible says that when brother rises against brother, the land itself begins to cry out. Spiritually, when the land drinks the blood of a brother, it refuses to yield its harvest. Xenophobia is a spiritual blockage. When we kill or hate our brothers, the land refuses to yield its harvest. Africa remains poor, not because we lack resources, but because of things like this. We have refused to be our brother's keeper. We are fighting over crumbs, while the owners of the table watch us from afar. Oh yeah, let them fight, let them go at it. If an African is not a citizen of Africa, everywhere on this soil, then independence was just a change of flags. Forgiveness is one thing, right? Children of God must have this in their hearts. The Bible in Matthew 18:21-22 preaches on forgiveness. 21, right, says, then Peter came up and said to him, Lord, how often will my brother sin against me and I forgive him? As many as 7 times. Then Jesus said to him, I do not say to you 7 times, but 77 times. So this calls for releasing personal bitterness and resentment rather than holding a record of wrongs. The Lord tells us to forgive our neighbors not 7 times, but 77 times, which signifies unlimited forgiveness. Victims of this xenophobic attacks should please take it to their hearts and forgive your brother. It wouldn't be a good thing to retaliate, because if you do, the world is literally going to end. I mean, imagine the whole of Africa fighting against itself, right? It's going to be a repeat of division and a never-ending traumatic disaster. Africa, don't wait for the AU to save you. The AU is a social club for presidents, right? As we can see, the salvation of the continent is in the heart of the person sitting next to you, in the heart of the people. We celebrated a rainbow, but today we see the cracks. Don't just watch the news, right? Unmask the truth. The truth is heavy, but only the truth can set a continent free. Let's be vigilant. Let's pay attention. And let's know the truth. And let's forgive.